good to be back with you and being here once again. This is a Monday and it's 8 o'clock, 1 minute past 8. We want to appreciate our listeners for being part of the show. This is our usual show, Monday. We have Pathway for Integrity Network, and we want to thank you for being part of this show. My name is Innocent. I'm with Pastor Asaf, as usual. For a couple of weeks I've not been here. I think 2 weeks, Pastor?
Yes,
2 weeks. I was indisposed and therefore I couldn't make it on the show, but thank you for always being around and actually making it possible for people to understand what we are talking about. These issues of integrity have been consistently mentioned every Monday on Smart FM, and we know that that is something that is changing people all over the world. Those that have understood the message have begun acting on it and behaving in a transparent, trusted way. People are trusted because they are consistent in the way they behave and how they do things. So in our show tonight, we shall definitely dive into the topic of consistency. That's one of the other pillars. I think the last pillar of our 8 pillars of trust. So it therefore means that we are concluding with the 8 pillars. I don't know if it was an exam time, we would actually ask each one of you to tell us of the 8 pillars, which one do you remember, and what have you done to ensure that you actually improve on your integrity using these 8 pillars? Because every time we've been actually talking about these pillars, we've been telling you that these are life behavior or character-based issues. We are not speaking about a theoretical topics here. We speak about things that are meant to be done on a daily. You practice consistency, you practice character. These are some of the pillars. How have you found yourself while acting in a more transparent way, in a more trusted way? These are things that we want you to try out. I know we shall have time for calls later, and we will be, it will be good to share with us your experiences regarding these matters. But a good evening for us that are tuned in. And if you have a colleague that hasn't tuned in, please tell them that Pathway for Integrity Network has begun, and we are pushing our last pillar, which is pillar number 8. Yes, Pastor, can you greet our listeners?
Yeah, greetings, dear listeners. Like Mr. Innocent has said, this is Pathway for Integrity Network, and we continuously appreciate your being there every Monday at 8 p.m. Listen to us and also to try to interact with us. Someone may ask a question, why did we begin with the issue of trust and trying to come up with the 8 pillars of trust? What you need to know is that there's something we are trying to build within the community members, most especially our Soga region, where we are aiming at doing a mindset shift to quicken or to ease development in our communities and societies. Trust has been a big challenge, or one of the challenges that has hindered development, because we don't trust each other, so we rarely work together. You realize that there are many people who are unemployed right now, Mr. Innocent. Not because we don't have people who can employ them in the country, but the issue is centered around trust. There are businessmen who have businesses, big businesses, who can employ up to 50 people. Some of them are keeping their money in the bank
Because of issues of trust.
Issues of trust.
Yeah,
they have tried out different people,
but it hasn't worked.
It hasn't worked. So somebody ends up keeping his money in the bank. That's why sometimes we blame the rich guys, that so and so has money, but it's not. He can't even give me a job. Most especially relatives complain, but relatives again play a big role of downfalling people's businesses, because they take things for granted. This is for my dad. This is for my auntie. She or he has money, so even if I take some, and also be okay.
That won't hurt him.
Yeah, it won't. Anyway, I'm just stealing 100,000 from a million,
from
so
a million,
it may not really hurt them. But I want to tell you that whenever you do that,
yeah,
you are setting us back. So we began with the issue of trust because we want this message to get people's hearts and minds for transformation. Can you change and become an ambassador of change?
And remember, Pastor, we did say in one of our topics here, I think one of the first, while we were starting the show,
yes,
that to understand the word integrity quite well, you need to know that if what you think and what you say and what you do are actually in line with your actions on a daily, you have integrity.
Yes.
Don't cast any doubt on what you say, and you do it consistently. What you do is consistent, and what you actually think is consistent with. Those three patterns define what integrity is to you. Today, before I actually throw questions, because I'm moderating the show.
Yes.
Today, while I was coming from my place of work, there's a border guy who rides the border, and he was actually bringing me to town to meet someone, and then I continue with my journey. So we passed by a certain petrol station, and at that petrol station, I saw an Indian guy. In fact, he was writing sort of a voucher at a petrol station, and there was a huge vehicle parked. It's a truck. So I asked him, could this Indian be a driver? What could he be doing? Then the border guy told me, no, I've kept seeing that guy consistently. He comes wherever that vehicle is going to be fueled,
and he writes
a voucher.
Yes.
Then I asked him, what could that mean? Say, if that guy is not a supervisor, then he does work in the account section of that industry, because the vehicle belonged to a certain industry that I won't mention on air. Then I asked him, why do you think he does that? The brother told me it's about not trusting drivers. So he has to do it consistently, move from across the river, because that company is across the river, and then comes to this petrol station, fuels the vehicle, writes the exact amount of liters of fuel that are supposed to go in the vehicle, and then the vehicle goes.
Wow.
It means that either the drivers used to put in less fuel and they would get part of the cash, or they put in fuel and had a negotiation or an understanding with the pump attendants.
Wow.
To find a way of getting some money. So along the road, as we were coming with this border guy, he was telling me, one thing I should tell you, we are not trusted as Ugandans.
Wow.
We have a problem. Because now imagine this man would be seated in the office, if it is not a matter of casting doubt on the trust of the drivers, and he would easily do his work without fearing or thinking anything negative that the drivers will not do the right thing. The extra fuel that the drivers used to cheat brought about this tight situation of now having to get someone to write a voucher at a petrol station.
Wow.
Okay? If someone will not trust you to go at a pump and have a vehicle fueled, what will they trust you in?
Wow.
What trust will you earn from the bosses? You as a driver. So think about it. Think about it. It's something that can break you or make you. That is trust.
Yeah.
If you're a trusted person, everyone would love to be part of you. Even those that are not trustworthy. In fact, those that are not trustworthy will always recommend the trusted people. We say, it is pastors have. No, that one we cast no doubt. He will do the work perfectly. But when it comes to themselves, they fear even to take positions of responsibility because they believe they are not trusted. So trust is a huge ingredient that actually binds relationships, that brings people to be more motivated because they know they are working with a team that is trusted. And it's all that we are talking about on this show.
Sure.
We want trusted people because without trust, our country can't move an inch. Without trust, we cannot develop. This issue that we keep talking about, we are underdeveloped, Uganda is poor, we have this. It all starts with us. Before you blame others that are not trustworthy, what percentage of trust do you hold? You who is speaking in your position of responsibility, whether factory, whether church, whether school, or at a border stage, what percentage of trust do you hold? Are people seeing you as a trusted person or not? Consistency is our topic tonight. What is consistency as being a pillar number 8 of our trust lessons?
Yeah, we can simply look at consistency as being like your words and actions match.
Yes.
You don't always change. You are the same yesterday, today,
and forever.
And being that when your words match the actions.
Exactly.
Because some people are consistent in words.
Yeah. But actions are zero.
Yes. Yes, you find them speaking the same, but you don't see any kind of action
that they take.
Yeah, following the words. So we can look at consistency in that perspective.
Yeah.
And when you look at consistency, amongst the 8 pillars, this becomes the binding pillar.
Wow.
That binds the 7.
The 7.
Yeah. If you are good in character or compassion as one of the pillars of trust, people watch it over time. You may be compassionate today, and tomorrow you're
not.
Maybe you may be compassionate because you have money.
Yes.
And if it disappears,
you become a different person.
So people will not trust you because of your compassion, because it is not really consistent. The same applies to character.
Yes.
People watch your character over time. They look at you today, tomorrow, the other day, always. Then they say, that person can't be trusted. We've seen him. I was with him in 2008. The same thing in 2010. The same thing. He's the same person. Yeah. So your words and actions match. I want to speak to fellow people in the Soga region, regardless of which tribe you belong to.
Yes.
We came up with Path of Integrity Network simply to have a better Busoga in all aspects of life, in all institutions. It may be marriage, like you said, it may be church, it may be in your business, it may be in your company. We are affected, all of us. So we need to think about these pillars we normally mention to you, and look at where you belong or what you have amongst the 8. If not all, what do you think you have amongst the 8? Because if you decide to be that, then you are helping us to build a better Uganda, to build a better Busoga, to build a better Jinja. Some people, when you talk about such things like being trusted, they forward it to others. Hey, they are talking about so I know that man is a thief.
He's a thief.
That man. But who are you? What about you? What do you say about yourself? If we are to ask, how do you identify yourself? How do you define yourself? Are you trusted in your marriage? Are you trusted at the workplace? Are you consistent in whatever you do? Consistency sometimes maybe can come in a wrong way, but of course people get to understand that, okay, that one is like that.
Like that.
Yeah. But now
he's a perpetual thief.
Yes.
He's consistent in stealing.
But now we are not aiming at perpetual thieves. We want people who are aiming at good morals, good consistency, where people can lean on you, where somebody can trust you, or where somebody can depend on you or rely.
Yeah, that's true, Pastor. And in fact, personally, I would say life and the daily life that we live in is merely a package of consistent actions that we do on a daily. No one should deceive you that there is a day that you will have for over 26 hours of a day. There will be 24 hours in a day. That is a consistent action that God created. It is consistent. Even before the invention of clocks and watches, that didn't change. There was 24 hours. God never cheats. He gives perfect time. For us who live along the equator. But when you go to other countries, it might change basing on their distance from the equator. But that is what we are here in Africa, in Uganda. Second, when you look at the world that we live in, and you look at the day and how you start your day, just know that if you're a consistent worker, there is a certain time of the day that you wake up. It is consistent. You either start your day at 7, you start your day at 6:30, or you start your day earlier at 5, depending on how you set your programs of the day. Now, every person has their own routine. There are those that start the day with a prayer. There are those that wake up and just jump out of the bed. They are consistent in that. Someone is consistent in just jumping out of the bed and he goes starts his day. Some of us feel like, you spend all night, you didn't understand what was happening. So it's time to really know that the Creator was, all his power was behind you staying alive, because you don't know how many people died across the night. So, you as a person, you should be identified by a certain set of actions in the day. Either you are consistent in the way you arrive at your work, the time, but also the actions that follow that time. You greet people, you probably share a joke. It depends on how you set yourself. But you see, this goes back to, how do I want people to identify me? How do I want people to see me?
Sure.
At a point when I am fatigued, I feel the body is worn out. How do I act? You see, some people break their actions and break their routine of consistency in what they're doing because of certain things that come along their life. You've made a loss, you've become a lion. You're just very tough that no one wants to look at you. Yes, it's a loss, we understand. But it's not me who has caused you make that loss. Sure. It may not be your staff, but this has happened. How do you treat yourself? How do you behave at a point when you're at the low turn, the downward turn? Are you consistent in your actions? If your actions are going to be interrupted by maybe a sort of package of happiness, you're going to vibe, you're going to maybe party, these are some of the things that may change your course of actions, their daily routine, and you need to understand. You need to, I was telling someone, I used to be a very serious fan of Premier League at one point, and I found myself taken by the Premier League. I would feel sorry for my team losing, and I would feel so sorry to an extent of beginning to sometimes feel headache. Pressure was too much on me. Then I talked to myself. There's a point when I spoke to myself and said, but look here, Innocent. You are neither a relative of these guys, nor an owner of that soccer club or football team. You're not even a shareholder in that team. Why do you feel so much pain to an extent of even causing yourself harm?
Sure.
What I did, I said, oh, I understand. So this has to be leisure. It doesn't need to take my entire mind, my entire thoughts and everything. And personally, because I spoke to myself, it gave me an opportunity to reduce on the extent of pressure. You understand?
Yes.
So when you are consistent, you can even do what they call introspection. You can look inside of yourself and begin to identify areas that you're weak and say, this one is not a good act. It is being consistent in my actions, but it's not right. 50 years, I will be 70. Okay, that's fine. In the 70 years, which country, sorry, what sort of country do you want to live in? Because fine, you may say today, we are in a more worse country, everything is bad, but which country do you want to live in the next, because you have a longer period to be alive than I will, because I'm 40 years now. If I'm to live longer, you can't give me more than 50 years, because I will be 90, or maybe if you gave me 50, 90 years, let's say, God has blessed me with many years. At 90, I will be worn out, I will be old. So, it's you who is today young that need to shape the future of the country that you want to live in.
Yeah.
And don't allow those that are living today to determine that future for you. Start by yourself. Start by behaving as a person of integrity, so that you make the people around you to understand that integrity is what we need as a country.
Sure.
The countries that we admire did not at any moment have so many people do the same thing to shape their countries. No.
And actually we have many people going out today looking for jobs outside those countries.
Yeah, they are going to those countries.
Because they know they will pay them highly.
Highly.
Yeah. But you know, they have worked for it over time. They have embraced integrity.
Integrity in their country.
Yeah, in order to cause development.
They are consistent, in fact, in what they do.
Yeah.
In what they do. The topic we are discussing is exactly what they are doing. They are consistent in their actions. We studied in our Thursday meetings, online meetings, about a gentleman called Sir Wilberforce.
Yes.
He's known for the anti-slavery movement in the UK. What happened? How did he begin fighting a trade that was so lucrative like that? He did it because he believed that it was wrong to trade in fellow human beings.
Sure.
Remember when we were actually learning on that in that meeting, when Professor Tom was saying that, you see, it all began by first of all shunning the wrong and saying this is not right. Sir Wilberforce later became a member of Parliament in the House of, that's the House of Commons. You see, the House of Commons is the lower Parliament of the United Kingdoms, and then the House of Lords is what is the higher Parliament, or what they call in the US the Senate. There are two types of Parliament. So he was in the House of Commons, and he did his part after a long journey of trying to demystify a trade that was lucrative. You know what it means to kill one's business? A business that someone was getting a lot of money. These people were getting a lot of money. And it was a trade that was for the lords. The lords were, are the rulers in the UK. So it's a trade that was connected with the monarchy of the United Kingdom. So it ends up causing him a lot of problems until he died, you remember. He died before seeing his fruits being done. And we've seen so many people dying at a point when they have not yet either achieved or they have partially achieved what they are fighting for. But the message does not stop. It continues. So if we want to change what is wrong today, the question is, what exactly are we who are alive today doing to make a better country that we all desire? Let's go for a commercial break. We'll be right back. We are the Pathway for Integrity Network. We need to apologize, Pastor, to the people that we had invited for a breakfast meeting at Paradise Hotel last Saturday.
Yes.
I heard there is a Reverend Father that had come for that breakfast meeting. Unfortunately, we had cancelled it out because of visitation. So we are very sorry. Sorry to those that we didn't reach out and had actually picked interest to attend the breakfast meeting. It was something we plan, but Pastor, you could give details later on as we complete this discussion on consistency. We are trying to put things together, to have a lot of brainstorming work, to discuss on these issues of integrity with several people of different professions, such that the whole idea that we are building comes out. To you members that may be hearing us for the first time, this organization is very young. We are barely, could be 4-5 months.
Yeah, around, it's kind of 7 months.
7 months now, yeah. We're a young organization, but with a lot of big vision for our country, our region, Busoga, and know that with what we are doing, given the opportunity that is and has come our way, there's a lot that is going to change about our country and Africa at large.
No.
We believe that the start has been small, and this is where we need to actually call upon your support. Come and join us. Come and be part of Pathway for Integrity Network. So we are discussing the last pillar of trust, which is consistency, and Pastor Asaf is trying to take us through what it all means. Pastor, from where you ended, pick it up from there.
Before I get there, I want to try to emphasize what you've been communicating to the listeners about the breakfast meeting, the different groups we are trying to meet out there. We are doing whatever it takes us to make sure that we make this organization known to the public and for people to understand the problem we are faced ahead of us, so that we try to come up with a solution. You know, I normally think about how many times we support maybe people who are doing functions, people who are going for marriage. We normally spend our money even on things which are not really useful. But what about if we think about spending this money also on programs like this of Pathway for Integrity Network, where we are trying to do a mindset shift within our community members and fight corruption. You know, we call corruption to be moral decay. The corruption of our lives. That is manifesting in many things, not only finances, but even at home. People are quarreling with their partners, people are mistreating their children. That is all because of moral decay, because of corruption. The world is taking a different direction, and that's why we, the Christians, like me, the pastor, need to rise up and really fight for the good by being good, practicing this good. So what can you do to be part of this? How do you want to participate? You can actually reach out to us, write to us, call us. Let's hear your ideas. Let's hear how you want to participate. Most especially, people who are willing to give in, to sacrifice a little they have, to make sure that we make this reach different people or parts of Busoga. We have a 3-year strategic plan that is aiming at talking or reaching out to the Busoga region, and we test the ground. We want to see how far we can go with this integrity message. But to remind you, they gave us a start. That's why we are here at Smart FM, even Busoga one. But we have the responsibility now to take it over from there. Nobody will keep funding us for this. this is our problem.
This organization is not going to beg for money from the whites. We are looking for Africans, black as we are, to see cause as to why we need to change our country, change our people, by not taking them to prison, or by not actually convicting them for the sins that they've done, but by using good to actually influence their actions. The young people that are in this country, the young families in the country, and even those that have actually aged and even been there for some time. I know that if we happen to make the message reach to different locations of this country, of this region, Busoga, then this message is going to be in position to change lives of people. I want to tell you, if you tell a person that act as a trusted person, then the harvest, what you're going to harvest out of those continuous actions, the consistent actions of trust, is going to be more. For the meantime, you may be looked at as a poor person. Many will laugh at you, but consistency in what you're doing is going to attract people of value, people that matter, to come and associate with you. And when they associate with you, because of the other aspect of trust, you're going to start small and grow any enterprise, organization, or corporation that you have into a big organization. Because we've seen this work in other countries.
Yes.
They don't have any other magic. The only magic is integrity. Where you find an accountant, a teacher, a storekeeper, you find a policeman, you find a doctor doing their work without being added any penny, without doing anything to influence the patients, maybe to give them money. But they are doing it because that is the work they are paid to do. The moment we reach at that point, then the excess expenses that we have and that we include in our daily lives will go and be invested in things that matter.
You know, compassion is one of the pillars of trust.
Yes.
Before you do something wrong to someone, put yourself in their shoes.
Exactly.
What if you were that person?
That person.
Who was affected?
You are in a bedridden state, you are terminally ill.
Yes.
And the person who is supposed to give you another chance in life to live is saying, the moment you don't bring 200,000 on my table, I'm not going to touch on your patient.
And
Just
sometimes you even tell them, my patient is dying.
And then they will say, but what do we do?
It's not the first
It's
person.
not the first person to die. We've seen people dying here.
And they die every day.
No, we are looking at that point when someone feels for the other, not because they've paid them to feel like that, but because they feel that I have the opportunity to do something to save this life. I have the opportunity to do something to change the life of this child in class. I have the opportunity to do something to drive these people carefully so that they reach their destination. That is the level of responsibility. We are not seeing this as a daily routine. You see, I'm a doctor, I've been there for long, you know, I'm a policeman and a senior one, you know, I'm a teacher, I've been qualified, I am qualified for quite a long period of time. What we are looking for is that compassion that comes out as an attribute that you, a Ugandan, is feeling for another Ugandan who is not even your relative, not your son, not your daughter, but you've met that person and felt they desired, they need someone, a helping hand. They need a helping hand from someone. That's what we are looking for. Because the money that you see that comes from the whites, America, for example, that money comes in as a donation. I normally ask myself, where is Uganda aid? But we have US aid. We have UK aid. These are aid bodies that come to do work in Africa. Can you imagine?
At least there should be aid within ourselves.
Yes, we should. We should have a Uganda aid, maybe a ginger aid. Basically, to say that we are lacking. We have people that are not well. But what has distanced those that have from those that don't have? Because the don't haves are equally wolves. Sorry to say that. They come in your life, but they also want to destroy you.
Sure.
Because of probably the feeling that I should be in that position. Instead of supporting that one who has, such that he continues having, and support those that don't have. For us, when you bring in your life in our countries, when you bring in your life those that don't have, they will turn against you and become again a problem. But we can only change that by speaking to them. We can only change that by training our young people. Our children, they are going to school. They don't have the same money like those that they are studying with. Have you ever tried to act as a father and you help this child to learn to give the little that you have. Be it's a tin of maybe bread or milk. Does your child share something with those other children that are not well-to-do? Have you taught your child to move to the poor schools, okay, and share, be it their clothing that are not worthy for your child? You know, we have families that have children that maybe every time they change their closets. Maybe let this child learn to give. Let them carry those shoes that seem to be worn out for them. Take them to a school where children are walking barefoot.
Or give them to the neighbors.
Or give them to the neighbors at the neighborhood. Let them learn to do something of charity. So that we build a country of children that will know that, okay, having seen what I've gone through, the life I've lived in my family, I need to do the same to others. We don't need, why do you get these clothes and burn them?
Sure.
Why they throw them away? There is someone who is lacking something. Consistently teach these children to be givers. And your family will not lack because it will continuously earn.
So we want to emphasize that in that good part where you are being good, do it with the consistency.
Exactly. Don't do it once and don't put a camera while you're doing it. You know, with this age of cameras, say put a camera and then you give. No, don't let anyone know that you're giving, because even the Bible that we believe in clearly states that when you give, let not your right hand
Even
know that you've given. Let it be your own. Feel the satisfaction doing something without someone knowing and seeing you. We are getting right back after this commercial break. Sure, we are going to pick some calls, and if you really would love to join us, you'll use the Smart FM line for us to move with you, and please make sure you contribute to this discussion. We love it when you give us some testimonies or contributions regarding issues of consistency, our 8th pillar. Next week we are starting on something new, and I know it will equally be interesting, because we believe it's what can change us, can change our country, can make our country better. Our role is to speak these words, move to communities and talk to people. We have started when you find time to read our strategic plan, the 3-year strategic plan, there are quite a number of things that we are looking at that we think can really change. As we wind up to get the calls, Pastor.
Yeah, we want to remind or to tell the listeners that we are planning about something in this city, Ginger, those who stay around Ginger. We want to open up to find out a place where we can be having open discussions, where we can invite people and have a dialogue about integrity, trust, and see how much we can impact our community. So very soon we will be communicating that. Once we find out the place, we'll be communicating to you when to meet and how to meet. So be ready. But those who want really to reach out to us with their support, with their ideas, you want to partner with us in any way, you can really call us. Most especially in Ginger. We are still around Ginger City because that's where we are registered. We are only pursuing the NGO process to get the other districts. So if you are outside Ginger, it may be hard for us to reach out to you right now. But to those who are around Ginger, we can meet and talk. We can have different interactions. You can't be trusted when you are poor.
Got it.
You can't have trust with them.
My brother, it's possible. It's really indeed possible. The poor people equally can be trusted. Government, everyone says